Okay. Um, it's been a while since I've been making videos, but it's good to put this back to reality. This is gonna be one of many. I've been making videos like this for years now, and just showing the different perceptions, manipulations, mental games they've been doing to me. I think just because perhaps I didn't make videos for the last week and a half or so, they forget that this is just another day of me making video of what they do to me. As a target video, my mind is manipulated. Since August 2019, every time I look at children, from the babies to the older kids, I've been manipulated to have some perceptions that's sexual. You've heard me say these things so many times, and I will continue to say that. These perps around you are supposed to gaslight you to make you accept this manipulation. That is their task. I mean, with me, I am surrounded by very childlike individual who are supposed to be the perps to make me accept of this manipulation, which is bizarre. In the first place, you will have very minimal respect for somebody like what you see here as somebody supposed to gaslight you. You see next to that picture over there, you see one person in a sweater, weird, kind of like in bizarre looking childlike individual, and you see two girls there with their pajamas, and this is the type of like everyday perps that live around me. Very childish. Some of them are kids. And matter of fact, the interesting part here, you're gonna understand why it's even as more pathetic than you think. But what's happening to me as a target individual? I'm being tormented and manipulated. My brain is altered. I'm no longer able to experience naturally organic reactions. I'm being manipulated to experience what they want me to experience. It's going to be perceptions, there's going to be stimulations, there's going to be manipulations of all sorts. And then there's going to be some gaslighters who will want you to identify with this manipulation. Now, that's what a lot of target individuals deal with. As my brain is decaying away, being degraded, they're trying to break me down more and more with this manipulation. But I will never identify with this. And if you go through my videos, you'll see many videos of this sort, all random. From little kids, little girls to older kids, and the same things. Nothing new. And these perps are always trying to break you down. This is another typical thing. Typical. You see this girl there. I scroll back, I scroll down, and I'm looking at her. It's like this person look like a kid, like a teenager. I'll give her like late teen, 16, 17-ish. That's what she looks like, right? And I'm of course getting experience, stimulations, perceptions, but there's also some kind of thought process being manipulating my brain, trying to make me think that what I'm thinking in regard of like she's teenager is not true. And not only I'm thinking this way, but because I'm forced to get stimulation, I'm thinking more and more that this is a 16, 17-year-old girl. Because nowadays, when I'm forced to get stimulations, I'm always like, okay, I'm getting this feeling, it must be a child. It is now part of the way I figure out if this person is a kid or not. Because sometimes, let's just say it's hard to say. Is that somebody who just looked like a kid, or is it just a kid that, like it's hard to tell. But when I feel the stimulation, it's like, ah, for sure, this must likely be is a kid. If not, I'm very suspicious. So what's happening? I scroll down, I look at her, it's like she looks like a teenage kid, and on top of that, I'm getting stimulation. Oh, let me investigate. And I'm going through it, and no, only she's not even like just a 16-year-old. She's like a 15 years old. She does look a little bit older in the sense like 16, 17. You'll think she's a bit older of a teen than the teen that she is, but maybe a year or two older. They're forcing me to get sexual stimulations of all sorts. Matter of fact, the reason why I took this picture in this way is because they were trying to make me look at her legs. Listen, I like women to look like women. I like voluptuous women. So they were trying to make her legs look more voluptuous. And then they would let her face like, oh, you think she's pretty? Good for her, pretty girl. Good for her being pretty, like as in like a kid. like a teenager, like a innocent kid. But my thought process and my perceptions it changed into something else. I perceive these kids as if they're adults. They're making me think and see them like they're not children but adults. They have this ability to manipulate your perceptions. This is how advanced this technology is. As a target individual, what's happening is you are being altered. Your brain is being played with. You are being manipulated. And then you have some people, and I think at this point it's more for the agitating purpose than the gaslighting purpose. Because they just agitate me when I hear this purpose. No, they are, it's you. And the worst part of this is, and not worst part in regard for me, the worst part for this clown is they tell me how they're gonna frame me. Now, you see these people there. Apparently, they are making look like, and listen to what they say when they do that. Apparently, it's daring that I'm in communication, I'm interacting with one of these kids here. One of this, for example, one of this person with the sweater. Just bizarre looking teenage weirdo. That apparently am being with romantically. And we're talking. Matter of fact, I hear them say that we're dating. Matter of fact, I can hear them every once in a while say, I love you. It's so disgusting. And it's because they're letting me know that this is what the interaction, quote unquote, we're having is about. It's about love. These people are disgusting. And these kids are being hyped by these perps that are adults to go ahead and continue to act accordingly. And so you have these people already compromised because they're using them to frame me, children, to then try to make me acceptive of how they make me perceive these kids. But people who tell you they're gonna frame you with kids, it's disturbing. But I know what the reality is. As a target individual, what they like to do is to break you down. They really are breaking you down and then try to make you acceptive of this breakdown. It's part of the departing process. They are literally trying to break you as a human individual down, then repattern you in this disgusting way where they want you to start identifying with these manipulations for these kids, from the little kids to the older kids. How they do that to the babies, so they can do that to older kids. So I have no doubts that this is not really the worst they've done. They've done it to little kids that you know they're little kids a second ago. They were trying to create a mental battle there in my brain, just making me think, no, maybe she's like just a 18-year-old. And because this is an ad, right? It's an ad about um uh, like some kind of like I'm not sure. It's some kind of ad. I think it's about like a brace or some. I'm not sure if it's an ad about brace or not, but it. I was supposed to let me see. Yeah, it's about Invisalign, which is the brace, and in this thing they talk about a seminar, and there's like a seminar for girls, and they're trying to create a mental battle. It's like, what kind of teenage girl will go in a seminar? Maybe she's just like an 18. They were creating battles like she looked like a teenage girl, like a late teen, like 16, 17. That's what she looks like. I was watching this video covering up because they were forcing me to get sexual stimulation. And the reason why they were trying to create these battles is because they wanted me to think that she's not a underage teenage girl. But maybe she's an 18-year-old. So then I find out she's just a 15-year-old, and I'll be like, oh my gosh, they do this thing all the time. Try to influence me to think this way. The truth is, I thought, okay, she looked more like a youngest, like 16, between 16 and 17, like right in there. She's even younger, 15. But that's the things they're doing. And I found out that she's a kid, like a very, like 15, not even like just a young teenage girl. But this is the things they do to me. And this is the disgusting things I'm gonna have to deal with. Every time I look at kids, from the youngest to the oldest, they're gonna find ways to make me experience some kind of disgusting reaction. Sometimes even babies, to be honest. Now, before her, it was like an infant, like a literally like a baby, like a newborn. So it really is just disgusting. But sometimes, and before that, they were doing that to like a 20-year-old. It made me feel weird. Like a 20-some-year-old feel giving me stimulations. I'm like, oh, this is forced. A young adult. I think I wonder if it's just because they want to try to distort and kind of play this mind game where, oh, is she a young adult or just a teenage girl? But this is the things they do to me all the time. And then, for example, this prep that comes and she's like, "You're gonna be blessed," and they use these childish people. They don't even. It's like they're not conscious of how they sound like. Like they're out of touch with the reality of what they sound like. It's not even their fault because these adults are really pushing this retardation, hyping these kids to be out of touch with reality. And they would talk, and they make me think also of like a man that has a child a year younger than her, 14 years old. Now, 14 years old is even more of a child, especially that age, right? A 14 and 15 becomes a big difference in age, not in age, but in like childlike states. In one year, I remember myself when I was just turning 14 versus when I turned 15. There's a big difference, at least for boys. So much more like definitely brain is much behind. But he was talking about how his kid had like these things, and I'm like, I wonder if all along they knew that this ad was gonna be shown to me and they're gonna start manipulating me in this fashion. It's nasty. Fathers of kids, they know this program alter the mind. They know this is what this technology is capable of doing. They know that very well. They know how obvious it is, and they know what it have caused people to do. Some people have lost their mind to the point of killing because it is disturbing to not be even able to look at the ad because there's a teenage girl and because they're going to force you to get sexual stimulation. It's nasty. It's nasty. Matter of fact, they were creating the mental battles like, no, but you've seen it before, but you didn't notice. I was like, no, you're making me experience that. I reassure you, if I saw this ad and they were they in my brain, they'll force me to get sexual stimulation. That's what they do. That's what they do. And right now they try to create mental battles like, now you'll see her like that's like I will not have any reaction to this kid. I will not feel stimulation, perceive her in a sexual way or anything like that. And in some of the battles like, but you think she's pretty good for her, she's good for her. It's like that's stupidity to that point. It's like, oh, you think she'll be a pretty she's a pretty girl, like a pretty teenage girl. It's like good, oh, great for her. Oh, good, great, good for her and all her future. Like, what does he even mean by that? Because the truth is, they want me to be interested in this kid in a romantic, sexual way. It's so disgusting. Target individual, be strong, understand who you are, and understand that this program is trying to manipulate who you are and distort the reality of who you are. And they have clowns. For me, it gets to the pathetic point that these people are even telling me they're going to frame me using their children, and they're in my brain and make me think that you who tell me how you're going to frame me will not alter my thought process or my perception toward this kid. You delusional trash. I've made a video a while ago. When they make you have this experience, then they try to gaslight you and try to make you accept, no, but we have proof that this is natural because, and they make me think for example, the piece of resistance, like I call it. In 2014, I followed this girl. Let's call her Ocean. Ocean, I thought, oh, and let's just say I'm in my 20s. I thought this person is like closer to my age, maybe 20 years old, right? Early 20s. She looked definitely older than her age. Definitely. I follow her on Snapchat. Never interact with this person. Never have any communication with this person. Matter of fact, it's so bad that they even try to make me imagine just you like this. Never. Finding out she was not 18 years old at that point yet. But she just looked like she was 20. Today, When I look at these teenage kids and they force me to get this manipulation, they're like, no, you see, because in 2014 you follow this person, and so they are validation, it's proof, and they send retard child like trash. Say no, they are. It's okay. No, you are pedo. First of all, they work for governmental entity filled with pedophiles. Two, they are telling you they're gonna frame you. Literally saying, we're gonna say that you raped us. And then like, no, they are. It's like, yeah, of course, yeah, you who's gonna frame me, you going, yeah, of course. And the children, adding more to the level of how little you should respect them. You think your damn childlike ways gonna make me identify with it? You're retard. Target individuals stay strong and see this low life where they are. They gonna make me, and I know I'm not the only one going through this kind of manipulation. They do these things to other target individual, and maybe you are one of those target individual where your perceptions and your reactions and in the way you will experience something is manipulated in a degrading way. For me, what's happening, and for others, it's been the same. If I look at little kids, little girls, from the little babies to the older kids, I will get this manipulation one way or another, a stimulation, a sensation, a perception manipulation, or they can even try to make me see this kid as an adult, playing my perception to the point of almost perceiving a child like she's an adult. Now, obviously, if they can do that to the babies, they can do that to the older kids. So, them doing that to this teenage girl is not as crazy as them doing that to a 10-year-old, because they've done that to a 10-year-old, to a 9-year-old. And then they have these clowns and this shit contracted by this governmental entity supposed to gaslight you to the point of accepting this. I will never identify with these manipulations, and target individuals stay strong. I hope that my videos has helped at least one person. It doesn't need to be many. But this trash around you are just the low life. Do not harm this low life. They will get theirs. Look how pathetic they look already. Can you imagine people like them try to make you acceptive of this manipulation? You have zero respect for them, and you know what this program is about. You know they're just to shit the government. You lies to gaslight you. They know that. For me, I'm like, please try to do that in my face. You will awaken from a reality that will just that will bring you. You'll snap. These kids will snap back to reality really quickly. But this is not the first and or my last video about this. I've made so many videos about different teenagers, from young teen, old teen, babies, all the time, all the time. Matter of fact, I wonder how these perps don't get bored by this time. It's just so systematic. It's so obvious. It's so the same thing. They don't get tired of just like, okay, it's gonna be the same thing. He's gonna see a child, a teenager, old, little girl, like, it's gonna be the same thing. We're gonna make it like, and he knows it's us manipulating him. And there's gonna be some childlike retard supposed to make me subscribe to this manipulation. Tell me they are, it's you. Yes, they are this low life that surrounds you, target individual, that's supposed to gaslight you into this manipulation. Yes, this program consists of altering the mind to make you experience this reaction toward children. And yes, the governmental entities running this program empower these losers to be so mean at big time and have big issue with pedophilia. When I keep saying the bill called End National Defense Network Abuse Act, as an act, as a bill that was created in 2019, because there's so many workers at the DoD, at the Pentagon, downloading so much child porn, that a bill was created because they were being ranked for downloading some of the most child porn in the United States of America. I'm not making that up. The bill is called End National Defense Network Abuse Act. You know what they say when they manipulate you to experience these things? We maps. I've never seen people so compromised in so many ways, trying to still convince you into this false identity. You know what they say usually? Oh, you're gonna be raped, you gonna be a battle. Okay, you see, that's validation. So my target individuals stay strong. I know I'm gonna go through some horrible things because I've been putting the reality in their face. They want to now torture me in theatrical ways because this video is one of many I've made. Many. And because of that, it's humiliating. Because he's showing a trend here. Every time he's gonna look at kids, they're gonna do these things. And they tell me they're gonna frame me. And do you know when they tell me they're gonna frame me? Oh, we're gonna dare. Yep. They're gonna dare to make it look like that I was some child here. This is what they call daring. Now they say these things to annoy me because the truth is that's the foul things they do to others. They do foul things. They're trash. They tell me they dare to put child porn. They dare to put drugs. They dare like this. This is truly their job. This is part of their description of job. They do foul things to target individual men, women, and children. Some of them have lost their mind to the point of killing. Please understand. I'm sure those one who end up dying are not these darers. To all my target individuals, stay strong. And I will never let this low life live their fantasy. Thank you, God, I didn't have to grow up to be like a low life like them. Working for governmental entity where we're forcing people to have sexual reaction toward children, and then I come up and say we dared. Thank you, God, I didn't grow up growing up in a program where the governmental entities that empower me to be darers are actually the top tier child porn traffickers. Thank God that I never had to live life pretending somebody raped me as a child and called daring. Thank God I never talk about implanting child porn into somebody's computer. Thank God that I'm involved myself in a program that altered the mind in a pedophilia ways and then call it we are war. Thank God I never grew up in a program where they tell me to not say a name of this man called Roy Moore, which is a name I know because the employee who put me in this program donated this amount of money to this man after the allegation that he was picking up kids as young as 14 years old. Thank you, God. And it's such a cowardly life at such a young age. Stay strong, target individual, and do not identify with this nastiness.